All right, everybody. It's exactly 10:10 in Nigeria, yeah. So this is our time, and then we are starting now. So I'm just going to run through the program, the event for the program, which we have here just five program events. Which the first one here is welcoming of the attendees. So the second is opening speech by Mrs. Juliet. And then the third one is for our presenter, which is the third event. The fourth one is question and answer section. And then the last one, which is the fifth one, is closing remarks. And then everything is being timed. So I urge us to just sit and then get a feel of this webinar. Trust me, it's something that will open your mind. And then when you are listening to this webinar, please do as much as possible to do your jottings. And then outside this, after the webinar, this particular webinar is going to be recorded and it's going to be added for a course on our learning portal. For those of us that have access to our learning portal, you can access it and then you will see this course there and then you take it, and then in case you were not able to ask your questions here during this webinar, you can also ask your questions maybe on the learning portal, which is the LMS, which you have access to. So for now, we want to say thank you for you finding your time here to come and attend this webinar. We want to say welcome from Campus Business School. And so we'll move on to the next webinar, which will be our open speech for this webinar. And this open speech is just going to be like maybe 5 minutes or so, because we've exhausted like 12 minutes of our startup time. So this open speech is just going to be for 5 minutes. So I'll give the floor now to Mrs. Juliet. So Mrs. Juliet, the floor is yours. You can start with the open speech, and then when you're done, I will call on our presenter to start his presentation. Thank you, Ms. Juliet.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for making our time. All right. Thank you for attending today's webinar. I'm actually standing in for the director, who is unavoidably absent. So I bring greetings from the director to everyone in the house. Today's webinar, we've had last week's webinar and it was mind-blowing. And we trust that today's is going to be wonderful, insightful, and we are going to learn a couple of things from our facilitator. All right, I want to, on behalf of the director, I want to especially welcome our facilitators for today's webinar, and the person of Mr. Folu Dele Ijobulu. He's a business expert and the founder of Buy Simply. Buy Simply is a financial organization. So you're welcome, sir, on behalf of the director and on behalf of everyone in the house. You're welcome, and you may have the floor when your time comes. Thank you. Emmanuel, you can take it from there. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Juliet, for the introduction. Thank you very much. And now we'll move on to the next section, which has to be the webinar proper. So we'll now have to call on Mr. Folu to take the floor. So, sir, the floor is yours. You can start your presentation now. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen. I count it a great privilege to be standing in front of you, everyone here. Why do I do that? Because I know that I'm speaking to the leaders. I'm speaking to people who will shape the future. It doesn't always look like that in the early days, when you're all sitting down together, maybe somewhere on campus, and you're all sort of sharing the last urgent 2K that somebody collected from the parent, and you're all struggling and surviving. But I recall my time when I was in OAU, and, looking back at all the people who were there, right now, sitting at the top echelon several years, almost 25 years now, and they're all sitting in leadership. So I'm absolutely confident about the folks that are sitting here that, the next governors, the next commissioners, the next presidents, the next ministers, champions of industry. They're all seated here. And that's why I count it a great privilege knowing that the conversations that we're having, not just those who are here today sitting here, but everybody that's going to be listening to these videos, watching these videos thereafter, they are going to be picking up on some things that we would discuss, and we know that this will empower them as to get ready for their life and to get ready for leadership, because that's where we end up today's conversation. So again, it comes with a great privilege to be standing in front of you, knowing that the impact of this conversation is going to last for a very, very, very long time. So a bit about me, I've hinted about my start at OAU, and then I continued to INTIAD from a career standpoint. Started off with consulting, then moved to Exxon. In Exxon, I did all kinds of stuff. Technology, I did a bit around a lot in supply chain, core engineering, planning, risk management, did quite a bit. Before I moved to PySimply, where we help develop solutions that make your life better. That's pretty much it. We make people's lives better, and we do it in all kinds of things. So at the end of the day, feel free to reach out to me on email or my LinkedIn. I'll be more than glad to have a conversation, take this further. In terms of my interests, you see them all below. I sit on the board of a couple of organizations. So let's get started. My first question that I would love to ask is, what is a business? Now, in the context of asking what is a business, I'll be asking a bigger question: what is not a business? I know this is the campus business schools, and you have quite a lot of folks online. And, I'm talking about tips for entrepreneurs, but first thing I would want to emphasize is what a business is not. Now, most people, when you think about, oh, I'm starting a business, and I've had several sit downs with several friends who say, oh, okay, you're into business, and I've already gotten my website, I've already gotten my business card, I've already gotten an office, I've bought furniture, I've hired people, and I go like, no, that you really don't have a business yet. And a business is also not a great product, because you can have a fascinating product, and time again, there have been great, fascinating great products. Some products are ahead of their time, but they are not businesses. They are not businesses. A business at the heart of it is an aggregation of paying customers. That's when you have business. That's when you have business. And we can talk about the tons of failures of ideas. Now, many of you will vaguely recall that Microsoft used to have a set of phones that even survived a whole lot longer than Microsoft used to have phones that survived a whole lot longer than Amazon. Amazon tried getting into the phone business, and it failed, majorly failed. Why? There were no customers willing to pay. Now, I know that some folks recently, especially in the software and the tech world, they start a business and they give out their software free, and they go like it goes on and on. And until you can monetize, you pretty much do not have a business. Yeah, you can have an NGO or you can have a not-for-profit, but even that needs the lifeblood. Until you have cash flowing, you do not have a business. A business also is not contracts. There are lots of, I don't know whether I should get into this, but yes, there are lots of so-called businessmen that, depending on the political landscape, they're either in business or out of business. Most of them are briefcase on the corridors of power in Abuja or in Lagos or in all the various state capitals, hanging around, lurking around, and waiting for the next contract. So they get the contract, then they subcontract to somebody else. No, they do not have a business. Because maybe one can struggle to see what value they are creating. Because people will pay for value. People will pay for value. People will only pay for value. Because I ask you, why will they pay? Why do they pay? Why will they pay you? For them to pay you, you either have to be doing one of three things. So if you are thinking about your business, you need to be able to summarize in your business what exactly are you doing. Remember, we said the first thing for you to say you have a business is that you have an aggregation of paying customers. Let me just emphasize the word paying customers with an S. And it gets even better if they are repeat customers. Customers that keep coming again and again and again. So let me just clarify repeat customers. That's when you make a lot of money. For example, one of the KPIs that Google checks before they would acquire a company, they ask, does this company meet the toothbrush test? Now, people are expected to brush at least twice a day. They go like, do people pick up this thing twice a day? Now, I won't ask anybody here to confess how many times they pick up and they watch YouTube in a day. How many times do they use WhatsApp in a day? How many times do they use Google search for their project? How many times do you use Google Maps in a day? How many times do you use your Gmail in a day? You kind of get the drift. People rely on them every day, very frequently. Some businesses thrive on you using them like once in a lifetime. But those kind of businesses now need to make their money just once. For example, you are in a wedding planning business. Most people are going to use you just once in their lifetime. So you either have one opportunity or they've missed it. No, none of your friends that is planning wedding can say, let me patronize you. You know what? Let me go and marry another wife. It doesn't work that way. So you just pretty much just have one chance. So you need to kind of understand the nature of your own business. But the business that is better, and I tell people that do this, even though not all of them really fully tap into it, is that if you are lucky to be doing birthday cakes, it's beautiful because at any age in life, when you catch them, you are with them till, who knows, maybe they run out of the country. But even then, if you organize yourself very well, you can still connect. Because once a child is 1 year old, even from the day he is born till the day he dies, he's going to be celebrating a birthday every single year. Excellent business to be in. But not a lot of people just understand it for what it is, that if somebody has approached you this year to make a cake for him, you need to pencil the name of the person because next year there's going to be another cake. Now, it can be paid for by himself or paid for by the husband or paid for by the wife or paid for by the kids, but the birthday will show up next year. Now, that is a business. So it's an aggregation of paying customers. Ask yourself the idea that you have in your mind, does it really aggregate customers around it? Does it really aggregate customers around it? Now, why will they pay you? Why will they pay you? Why will they pay you? You need to be doing one of three things. So I would say typically, yeah, one of three things, they still have subs under them. Is either you are increasing their income, or you are conserving their resource, or you are doing some other type of value creation. But more often than not, it is usually in those three things. So first of all is that you are increasing their income. And a classic example is one of the biggest fathers in tech is Flutterwave. Flutterwave just makes it easier for you to make more money. They make it easier for you to collect money online. They lessen the friction with your business being able to make money. That's pretty much what Flutterwave does. That's pretty much what Flutterwave does. And if you look at it, several of us are in schools. What do schools do for you? They increase your ability to make money. because we know very well that the person who did not go to school, yes, you have some really powerful testimonies, but they are powerful testimonies of, oh, I didn't go to school, but then I still make a lot of money. They tend to be rare. That's why they are in the news. But on average, if you do not go to primary school, they say school na scam, but the person who is talking to you is writing in clear English. The person went to school. That's why even my mechanic, even my bricklayer, even the poorest of the poor, they will struggle and get their kids to school because they know it will increase their income. And it's good that you guys are in this campus business school because it's more likely to increase your income. The powerful lessons you're learning here is more likely to increase your income. That's pretty much it. What increases, if you are able to help people increase their income, yeah, you're going to get paid for it. The other one is, are you able to help people conserve their resource? Now, that's because I'm taking a broader view to resource management. People say, are you helping people to lower their cost? I'll give a classic example. Now, when you look at buses, yeah, downfall buses on the road. When you look at the public transport, what does it really help you to do? It helps you conserve energy, it helps you conserve time. Helps you conserve energy, helps you conserve time. That's pretty much why we take buses, because choose any two places, either in Lagos or in Abuja, you can actually walk. So whether it's from Asokoro to Gbagalada or whether it's from Yaba to Lekki, you can actually walk. It's just that it will take you a very long time. So what do we do? Depending on how much, depending on how much to conserve time, you give your hard-earned cash to somebody else. You say, save me time. That's why you pay them. Or you can say save me energy. That's why you either choose a point to point, or you do one that you do a combination that you have changeover. You do some walking, you jump on a bus. It carries you part of the distance and you finish it off walking versus using Okada or versus using Uber, which saves you time and energy. Why are we all on Zoom this morning? It's because it saves us money. Because it would have cost us a whole lot more for all of us to meet in a place. So that's why we're all paying Zoom. Yeah, it might look free, but yeah, we're all paying. Or at least you are paying for data because it's saving us money. Now, there are other types of value creation in terms of whether it's Instagram or Facebook that keep us connected, or whether it's the clothes that we wear that make us feel confident, that make us beautiful, that protects us from the weather elements. And when we pay for housing, it's saving us. It's some other form of value creation, which is protecting us from adverse environment. But at the end of the day, you need to be creating some form of value. The person at the other end needs to value it, one, and two, the person needs to value it more than the price that you are offering it. That's why they will pay. That's why they will pay. That's why they will pay. Now, unless you have that at the back of your mind, you do not have a business. I know I'm working at a very fundamental level, but I would rather that we sink in and we have these fundamentals clear in our minds than for us to be talking and building on it and we've missed the foundation. Because time and time again, one of the reasons that you see that you see organizations and you see several organizations and they start and they fail and they start and they fail is because they don't have this fundamental understanding. I'll move on to the next concept is the fact that you are the business. I love Jay-Z when he says, I'm a business man. The business is in you. You are the business. I know some of you are students and you might be struggling with the choice between career and business. But the first thing you need to understand is that you are the business. You are the business. And when you understand that you are the business, whether you are in form of paid employment or career, either way, you are a business that is offering value to people. Because really, for you to be paid in life, and either way is pretty much good, is that for you to be paid in life, you are of course in the business of value creation, whether you are sitting in somebody else's organization or whether you are sitting in your own organization. And I'll sort of just diverge on that and I'll just sort of elaborate a bit more on that when I go like, when you sit down in a business, it's pretty much the same thing. So when you sit down in a business, when you sit down in your own business, what you are trying to do is you are creating systems for people that will create value. So your job is to be a conductor. So for example, I'm in BuySimply, and in BuySimply we develop technology. I have one awesome lady that does a lot of our designs, and I have a group of young men and women who put the code together. I have another guy who does the operations, organizes. I have another group of people who drive our external communication. I have another guy another lady who writes our articles, another guy who does our designs. I have another person leading our sales effort. We have several other people who support us in various factors. Now, I don't do all of these things, but I've created systems that create a mix. Now, I have a mix of skills. So one day I'm looking at accounts, another day I'm looking at designs. Another day I'm asking our guys, are they really, really focused? Another day I'm doing resource planning meetings. That's it. It's a mix of skill. The deliverables are revenue and profit. Because I have shareholders. I need to deliver on revenue. I need to deliver on profit. Absolutely no story. So all these stories that you say when you say people is a startup, it's money making, it's supposed to be money making. They are jokers. Trust me, they are jokers. They are not going to be around for a very long time. Because after a while, the party will stop. Somebody will stop along the way. Yes, some people are lucky and they can string people along, but after a while, the party will stop. The stories will stop. The spins will stop. But if you are running your own career, you are part of a team of people that create value. And please trust me, you are no less special than the business owners. And it is very, how can I say this nicely? It's very immature business people that, spend good time online. They skip dissing people that says, no, you are collecting, how do they say this thing? That your salary is I don't know how they say it. I guess it's just too much of nonsense for me. That you are trading off your future for your salary. No, it's not. It's not. It's people not understanding that it's perfectly fine to be part of a great thing. There are thousands of folks who are working in Facebook, in Zoom, in Google, and they are content to be creating value as part of a team. Think about it this way: if everybody in Nigeria created his own army rather than us having one very strong army, we won't feel as safe. So it's perfectly fine to be part of a team creating exceptional value. I was in that situation for almost 20 years and it was great, and the impact we had was huge. So me choosing to move from one side to the other, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Now, when you are in a career, what you are honing is specialized skill. You are trying to become an expert in a field, in an area. Not to be a generalist, but to be a specialist. Bear that in mind. And what you are trading off is your knowledge and your expertise. Those are the KPIs for you, the depth of your knowledge and your expertise. And everybody that works on our team, the reasons they are there is because they are experts at what they do. Trust me, we have a strong filter system. Once you walk through the door in BuySimply, we are assessing you. we're assessing you. We're constantly discussing in our planning meetings. We're discussing who is strong, who is not, who is on the way out. Everybody knows it. Why? Because everybody sitting there is paid for their knowledge and their expertise. You have to be good at what you do. You have to be, no, not, I didn't say good. You have to be exceptional at what you do. You really need to be leading the pack on what you're doing. Which is why I'll go back to a phrase that you heard me say a lot. What is value creation? Because in every form of work that you are doing, absolutely every form of work you are doing, you need to be tapping into your skill set. Into your skill set. And because whether it's your employer or you in a system or whether it's your customer that will pay you, they are looking at the skills that you have and what you can do with it and the problem you are solving with it. So it does not suffice to have skills, but it matters what you are doing with it. So you won't be paid as much, and that's interesting. For those who love football, again, Premiership is back. Thank God for that. Yeah, I think Man U is on top of the table for now. But really, if you sit down on the bench, if they bench you all throughout the season, there's only so much you will get paid. Why? Because even though you have the skill set and you have the potential to do stuff with it, as long as you are not solving a problem, you are not going very far. That's why you will see some really talented players, especially if they have a disagreement with their manager, they move to another club because unless you are solving a problem with it, you are not able to do stuff. Now, which is another thing, is the fact that you can see the same team. I think is a team in Slack. They were solving one particular problem. They feel that they picked a different problem, exactly the same team, and they blew. As in, that's why we're all using Slack. But for us, it's also understand that work can be paid unpaid. And I want to just use this opportunity to encourage young folks in campuses is that don't try to. I started saying that business is about being paid, but sometimes it may be premature if your skills are not sharp enough for you to get paid really well. And it's okay for while you are learning the trade, and it's perfectly fine to learn the trade, is that you might need guidance to hone the skill. So that means you might take some bit of unpaid work. It's perfectly fine. At least I got my break that way. I remember the very first site that I designed, it wasn't fine, and I did it for free because I was just learning website design. And somebody saw that and was pretty impressed. And I remember earning my first, I can't remember how many thousands of dollars equivalent back then it was maybe like 11,000, maybe about $11,000 or something like that. Or maybe about a little over $1,000 thereabout for my very first site. And then I knew next to nothing. But somebody gave me a break because they saw the unpaid work that I did. So the encouragement is start somewhere. Just start somewhere. Do something. Start somewhere. Start somewhere. Because if you do not start somewhere, you really will not hone in the skill. So the encouragement is solve a problem with the skill set that you have. As in solve a problem with it. Because I remember back then is that I had developed the website design skill.
He's still talking, Abby.
Hello, are you with me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you. Please go ahead, sir. It was an interruption. Sorry, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, all right, no problem. So yes, I developed the website design skills, and I knew what I could do with it, design website. So it goes beyond from roaming from one training to another training, but quickly looking for a problem to solve with it.
Hello, sir. We can hear you.
All right. Back then, my school fellowship did not have a website. I designed one for them. It wasn't the best of website. When I look at it online, because it's still online somewhere, I won't tell you where it is. It's embarrassing. It's terrible. But it was what somebody saw that gave me my next job. It was the little I had that I moved on within a short time, like the following year or the year after, I was already getting contracts for it. Then I went to another place and taught it in my NYSC. Then I went to another bigger camp and taught it there. I had the opportunity to serve on a board. So, and it just moves on from there, but it was because I learned skill. I found what I could do with it and I solved somebody's problem. And from there, it moved on. The encouragement is with your skill, start something. You've learned to bake for free. You've learned to bake for someone. When somebody tells you, "Oh, that guy can bake," not necessarily the money the person collected. AI is available. I want to just touch on that. There are two more things I wanted to sort of just touch on before I wrap up. Is that AI is available, and people are afraid, will it take over your job? Calm down. Yes, if you are doing some particular set kind of work, it will affect your work. But it's for you to quickly learn about it. Now, when I was growing up, when I was in secondary school, we learned a subject called shorthand. Nobody uses it anymore. Why? Because I can speak to Siri and say, "Hey Siri," and it will respond to me. And I basically can do a lot of what you see on this slide. I basically can speak it into existence. I don't need shorthand. And that's the way it is also. Why is Google really scared? It's because there are so many search engines right now that people are not bothering to use Google anymore because they are much more powerful. So yes, it can compete, but it's for you also to learn how it is useful for you. And there are several of them out there creating videos, creating text, creating PowerPoint, creating all kinds of things. You need to learn how to make it work for you. But the good news is what AI cannot do exists. I like the picture by the side that ChatGPT cannot finish constructions. There are lots of things that AI will not do. So do not be afraid. We'll start with it. Human beings, when humans are truly needed. Yeah, there are several AIs that are being portrayed that, oh, they'll be your friend, trust me, they can still not replace the place of a human being. There are times in which people just need a hug. People want to hang out with their friends. So no matter how much you like Siri, you cannot be heading out to the club or heading out, hanging out with your friends and say, okay, all right, Siri, you are the one who will sit with me. It doesn't work that way. Human beings will still be involved. You will still need people, even for the AI to work, you will still need DevOps, you still need cloud computing, you still need some form of front end, back end. It can suggest, but it can only complement. So relax, there's still jobs for you. Don't panic. But I'll encourage you, learn to use it and learn to use it really, really, really quickly. But what is also not changing that is very, very, very important is leadership. So we are cycling back to where we started from in terms of business, is leadership. Leadership is not changing. Leadership at the end of the day is about influence. See, when you say, "Oh yeah, boys, you know what? Let's go and beat somebody up," that is leadership. Even though the output is evil, that is leadership. When you say, when you organize and say, "Guys, you know what? Let's go to the lecturer and go and beg him," that is leadership. When you are just going to class and you are encouraging that your classmates to also go and study, that is leadership. That is not changing. And leadership sometimes is just listening. Kindness will always be in demand. Kindness will always be in demand and it will always be in short supply. There's always somebody out there that that you've encountered today that could have been kind. I usually will have those conversations with my boys and go like, "Man, could you have done that in a different way?" And they say yes. What are ways of expressing kindness? In a large culture, listen. There are people who will always tweet, and I know Nigerian Twitter is savage, but please there is leadership. And that's where, when you have a culture of listening to customers, people will buy from you. There's one particular one of our customers in Buy Simply. And occasionally, especially in the early days when we first started, our software would glitch a lot, And we were always just wondering that why did they stay with us? They say, the difference between you and our other person who is providing us this software is that when we call you, you listen. When you call us, there have been cases where somebody reached out to us, I think it was still 2 or 3 days ago. They reached out to us at 1 a.m. Within 5 minutes, within 5 or 10 minutes, the first person that responded. Within another 5 minutes, their issue was resolved. 1 a.m. We're a small team, but we have that customer service. There's another person who reached out to us at maybe 1 or 2 a.m. We sent him the first message. Now, we're based out of Lagos. The person is based out of Ibadan. We sent him the message and said, guy, what's the issue? Second time, what's the issue? He didn't respond to us. By 7 a.m., we were in front of their office in Ibadan. They were like, it's not that hard. We go like, well, for us, we need to respond. In a loud culture where everybody is out there, we listen. So we like to connect with our people. We want them to know that we're listening to them. The lack of connection is draining. We talk to people, and that's part of leadership. We talk. If you're on my team, I'll be on the phone with you and we will talk. You will see me engage with you, and I would encourage you as a leader. You are talking to your staff. You are talking to your customers. You are talking to your competitors. You are talking to your enemies. You are talking to your suppliers. You are talking to your distributors. You are talking to a lot of people. EQ is low. The inability to listen and converse. This one happens, and conflict management is also lacking. And I'm talking about, when I'm walking through this, I'm talking about the tips around leadership. You are somebody who is going to lead somebody, who is going to make people pay you. These are your skill sets that you need. If you are going to take a screenshot, this screenshot. This matters. Kindness, because in a loud culture, listen. In a place where there is connection, there is lack of connection, talk with people. People need someone to talk to. I remember there was a time one of my friends, I reached out on the phone, and within the first 1, 2 sentences, I just felt she wasn't in a good place. Before I knew it, she was all in tears. There was just a lot going on in her. Like, she just needed somebody to listen to, somebody to talk to. And problems were eased, and she was in a much better place 10, 15 minutes later. EQ is low. The inability to listen or converse. A lot of people fight over each other, whether they are for one political party or the next. They are constantly fighting. Look at the US. It's ugly. Look at Nigeria. It's ugly. We're not listening to ourselves. The ability to converse. When it talks about conflict management, we're having divorce, we're having toxic work cultures. We need to learn to resolve conflict as leaders. And for leaders, vision is key. And I'll say, when you are talking about vision, people just talk about vision for your business, but I'll say, see the people in your business. See your various people, what matters to them. Whose mother has cancer, whose father is sick, whose child has a problem, whose daughter is going through hardship, which of them is struggling to pay school fees, who has been given a quit notice. These are the people that are working on your team. And you need to be sensitive to every single one of them. You really need to be mindful about one of them. These are the people. But not only are your feet on the ground, you also need to see the long game. I remember why I got out of the website design business in the early days, and I pretty much stay out of it right now. It's because I could see the future. yes, I was making money out of it. We had a business back then. We had a business and we were making money out of it. But I could see it very soon that after we had made some early money, quick money out of it, very quickly people were saying, well, 10K for website, 5K for website, and now you really can get websites for free. I was like, no, that you can't make money on this on the long run. I could see it in the future. I got out of the business. And there was a recent business. I'll just okay. Let me just share this with you. It's a case of there was a recent business. I was looking at some of our folks who were recently quitting those business. I don't know if I will still get into it in the future, but right now I don't see a clear path to it. It's the business of virtual cards. I know several tech companies are out there sort of issuing cards up and down. I look at all of them, I go like, no, not even if you're going to do it, it can't be this way. They say free cards, free cards, free cards. But you see people are gradually canceling that part of their business because it's expensive. But if you see, except you're able to sort of put it in a strong context, but that's the challenge with the job of the CEO, being able to see the long game, being able to see it. Can you make it? Is it $1 million business that will turn into $1 billion business, or is this $1 million or looking like $1 million opportunity, but it really is $1,000 opportunity? That is your job as leadership. And finally, communication is key, not just to various people, but just to the various very many stakeholders. So I'll pause right here. I'll pause right here and I'll just take questions. I think I've used quite a bit of time. I don't know if there are any questions. How does it really go with the question?
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your presentation, and I believe it has already gone a very long way in our heads and in our mind. It's going to be fresh there. Thank you for sharing this insight with us. It's very, very interesting. And then I'll throw it now to the people that attended. And then I believe throughout the lecture you were listening. So we want to ask if there is any question from your end. Esther, thank you for attending. Mr. Amos, thank you. If anyone, thank you for attending. I
Thank you,
really
sir.
appreciate you guys for coming to this webinar. So please feel free, just like you ask a question in the class, just ask a question. Esther, I see your mic is open now. You can ask your question now, Esther. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good morning, sir. Our facilitator, I'll say thank you for this beautiful lecture. When it comes
Good morning,
to
Esther.
leadership,
All right.
it varies. Yeah, I'm speaking. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can go ahead.
Okay, sir. Yeah, like I said, that's when it comes to leadership, it varies. And today, I've gotten another knowledge in terms of leadership. Yeah, my question goes this way. As a leader, I'll pick it from my place of work. If I'm the head of that department and people start telling me that, Esther is good, Esther is good, it means in terms of leadership, it means Esther is not doing her job. Because people see her to be, hey, I want to go to this place, oh yeah, go. I want to do this one, oh yeah, go. That you start giving permission to staff. But in a situation whereby I'm strict in terms of my leadership, that is why you see people saying that, Esther is not a good leader, Esther is wicked. Why? Because I'm strict in terms of my duty. So now me putting it to the facilitator now, what kind of leadership will I place myself? The one that they said Esther is good, or the one that they will say Esther is not good as a leader? Please, I want to get verification on that, sir. Thank you.
All right. The goodness or the lack thereof of your leadership is not based on democracy. I'll take that again. Leadership does not come by the vote of people, but by the effect that you make in their lives and the lives of all the stakeholders. Now, you in your job in a business, remember that that team that you are leading, I don't know what team it is. Let me give an example, customer service, or let me see, sales. You are leading the sales. Your job is not permission granting. That's not your job. Your job is not permission granting. Your job is not approving documents. Your job is not that. No, it's never that. Because remember that what we said, your job, you personally, is value creation. There's a customer at the back end of it. There's a customer at the far back end of it. When you call customer service in whatever bank that you use, and you've always called their customer service, what bothers you the most? You want your problems resolved and resolved on time. What makes you determine whether the customer service team in that bank is good or not is whether they resolve your issue, whether they are trained, whether they are knowledgeable. Your job as that leader is not necessarily to make people happy. The best of bosses that I have had, I'll mention his name, one of the best bosses I've had. I've had two exceptional bosses. There's one boss, his name is Dayo, another one is called Emeka. Emeka stressed all of us. He made us work, but we loved him for it. Why? Because he taught us what we did not know. He changed the way that we thought. He put in us a kind of discipline that all of us, long after we stopped working with him, we still call him our boss. And I have several other ones, I can't mention all of their names, but these two stood out. And what made him good is that it's not because there were times he wanted to go for an engagement and he tell that for you are not going. And you go like, okay, he says, you're not going. And later on, he will come back and explain to us why he said we were not going. We did not like him for everything he did, but at the end of the day, we saw the point of what he did. It's just like being a parent. My value that I'm adding to my kids is not necessarily for them to like me in the short run. It's for them to look back on their life and go like, thank you, Father. Thank you, Daddy, for what you did. Thank you for not allowing me to play with knife or with guns or with fire. It's not a popularity vote. So it's not necessarily judged by what your supporting staff say, but can they look back on their life and say, have they acquired skills? Do they have clarity on the visions of the shareholders of money or of management? Do they have the skill sets? Do they have the opportunity to lead themselves? Have you trained them to be better leaders than they were? So that when they get promoted into your own position or even beyond your position, they know what to do. That is your job as a leader. It's your job to help them to help. You need to be able to listen to them, to connect with them, to help them to learn how to resolve workplace issues, to give them a vision of themselves that they cannot see of themselves, to stretch them beyond their boundaries, to help them become a better version of themselves. They don't need to like you while they are doing it, but by the time they are done with the process, they look back and they are grateful to you. That is your job as a leader. So it's never really about what your current staff are saying about you currently, because there's almost none of those bosses that I've worked with that I've looked back and looked at, they were exceptional bosses. That while they were making us suffer, you are like, no, there is been suffering and there is this going through training versus being wicked. No, they were not wicked. They were compassionate leaders, but they were training us. There is no soldier that is being trained. As in when you look at all those movies that you have soldiers going through training, none of it looks palatable. Have you ever considered yourself, think of yourself as a mother, you have a child, and he goes through the kind of grueling training that those soldiers go through? No, if you had a window into it, you will pull your child out of it. But all of us like the beautiful soldiers when they dress in their fine uniform at the end of the day. We like the product, we just hate the process. But the general at the top is a leader, and he sells the vision to them. He says one day you will look fine in a uniform, and there will be skills inside of you that will protect the nation and protect your family. But for now, I'll make you roll through mud. You won't like it. I'll wake you up at 3 a.m. I'll tell you to scale over fences. You won't like any of it. It will be painful, it will be hard. But they keep selling the vision, so that by the time the soldier will realize I came in as a civilian, but now I'm a soldier, he has sold the vision, and they will continue the tradition. That is your role as a leader. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Esther.
100%. Thank you, sir. Appreciate.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you very much for the due diligence and everything. Thank you. We really appreciate. Esther, I believe you're okay with the response now, so that we heard. So I don't know if in the house there is another question, so we might just
I'm
take
very much okay, Mr. Emma. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, should in case there's anyone else, I think we would be able to just take just one and before we round up the section. So, I'll just give the floor to raise up your hands. I'm seeing you from the back end there. If there's any questions or you have a contribution, you just want to chip in, then we'll be waiting for you in the next 1 minute.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead now. We can hear you.
Okay. Please, my question is because we've listened to the speaker, and at a point he was saying that you can sell your skill, or you can give your skill out to people for free.
Sorry, Mrs. Nyoma, you are muted. Just unmute yourself. I'm unmuting you now so you can speak again. Rephrase that question.
Okay, is that okay now?
Yeah, take the question again. It's okay now. Take it again.
All right. So my question is that at what point of a business startup can we actually give out our skill or whatever we want to offer to the people for free? Because why I'm asking is that the speaker said that we can actually give out our skill for free so that people will know what we are giving out. But one of the courses we underwent said that doing that is a kind of devaluing what you are doing. So please, I need a balanced understanding on this.
So
Thank you.
I agree very much. If you're in a business, you're not giving your services out for free. You are not. So just to be clear, you are not. If you are a business, remember my very, very, very first slide is this. A business is an aggregation of paying customers. If people are not paying for your service, you don't have a business.
Okay.
Now, what I said is that in your early days, in your very, very, very first days, when you are growing a skill, no, you are not yet started monetizing it, you are growing a skill. You are in secondary school, you are in university, you are trying to, you've just learned a skill. Find somewhere to use it. So
Okay.
you can learn website design today and show up in my, as in you are coming straight out of the training, you show up in my office and you tell me I'm a senior website designer. I'll test you, and trust me, we speak to tens, if not hundreds of developers every week. And out of 100, we are hiring one. That's because I speak to plenty, my team speak to plenty novices every single day. And really, my encouragement to all of that is go get some unpaid work, develop your skill, know what you are doing, then come back and we will pay you top money. But I won't put you in front of my customers to do baby work. No. I look at it the way is that we encourage our kids to do birthday cards, and those cards are, to be honest, they are really ugly. But you as their mom, you as their father, you love it because it was made by your son, but you won't collect it from anybody else. So that's why I said during those times when they are making those ugly cards, it's unpaid work, but they are developing penmanship. They are developing an idea around design so that subsequently they can now start a business that makes greeting cards. But their very first set of cards will be ugly. It's unpaid. We will receive it out of love. We will manage it like that. But you must get people to pay for it. Otherwise, you don't have a business. When we're talking about a business, it cannot be unpaid. Now, there are cases where like Zoom is unpaid. Why do very many of us have a limited Zoom account? They restrict it. Why does it work that way? Is that they want to train us on how to use it. They want to train us on how to use it so that by the time you set the business, you start paying for subscription. Why do they have what do you call it? Why do they have give all of us Gmail accounts so that they can see how we use email so that when you start a business, you can pay for Google Workspace. So they got us comfortable with it. Because if you look at the business account that you created, it's because you already have an account with them. But those ones are charging you from day one. But they might get you in, but it's because they want to monetize you. So businesses that do not learn to monetize early will grow, but the reality is that they don't have a business fundamental or that they will struggle. I hope I've been able to clarify.
Very clear, sir.
Okay, superb. I think Tochuku's hand is up. Do you want to go ahead?
Okay, thank you, sir. Tochuku, your hand has been up. Please, you have 1 minute to just ask your question, and so let's respond to you. Oh yeah, the floor is yours now. Just go ahead now.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you now loud and clear.
Okay, sir. Please, I joined the meeting late because of some other things. So I just remember, so I joined late. So I don't know whether I can get the record of all the lectures that has taken place already. That is just the
Yes, of
question.
course. It will be live on our learning management portal. You know the learning management portal where you do courses. It will be live there, so
Yes.
you can check. There when it's uploaded, there will be a notification on the community, the students community. So you can go there
Okay.
and get the full details about the course. So I guess that's
Okay.
what you want to say for now. That's all.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. All right. I think that will be all for now. We will be wrapping up for this webinar, and I want to say thank you for everyone that attended. And Sir Folu, we want to say thank you. Really appreciate your time towards this lecture. Seriously, I really appreciate. There was something I just grabbed into when you were talking about Zoom being given, where Zoom gave a free platform for, you have 45 minutes to schedule your webinar, and then after 45 minutes, you are also limited to some factors, some tools. You can't really operate as a free user. Which, like the question the lady asked, she said, how long are we going to be giving our services for free to people? And I just captured something. Said, if you are not monetizing your skill, you're not in business. So many people have skill, but they are not monetizing it, but they tell you they are in business. That is a food for thought. So not until the business is generating revenue for you at least every week or every month, that means you're not in business. At least that one alone, is something I will capture and take home. And then also, I think I just want to make a little contribution as regards to what the question the lady asked, say, how long can you be giving your services for free sometimes? First of all, like at that inception stage when you just start a business, it's good. You always give service for free. So it's my own way of even promoting myself, letting people see what I can do, and then fighting out, trying to get out my errors that I made at that early stage. So that when I start monetizing it, I will still decide also to still give out some services for free. Take for example now Zoom. Give it out. I think they still give it out for free because when you test it, you have a taste of what the services is all about. You will want to what pay. So it's still a way of magneting people that will come to their service. So I really learned a lot for during this webinar, and I really want to say thank you, sir. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate. So from Mrs. Juliet, I don't know. Me, I've captured my own. I've gotten something big for myself. So Ms. Juliet, I don't know if you have a final contribution. So we'll just call it a day and then end the webinar. So the floor is yours, Ms. Webinar. Ms. Sorry, please help me if you have something. Let's hear from you.
Just to say thank you, just to appreciate Mr. Folu. Thank you very much. That was an insightful and extensive lecture. Thank you very much on behalf of the director and on behalf of everyone in the house. I want to say a very big thank you, sir, for that impactful rendition. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right, Emmanuel, I think.
And we call it a day. So we'll be ending the webinar in the next few seconds. So thank you very much for attending. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. And